But then the unthinkable happened. Out of nowhere, Pop Bob logs in and... wait, no. Wrong video. Wrong video. Intro. Imp Base was a legendary base built on 2b2t in 2012. The base was one of the server's best kept secrets, even though the Jesus statue was the background image for the 2b2t website for many years. The base was founded by Imperator Terrare's friends, Jonzu, Hansium All, and Legit Lobster, and was called Viking Base. Meanwhile, at spawn, XCC2 met Irish Boy 55 and Imperator when they visited NFE. They were travelling together and talking in chat about their spawn base. Imperator invited XCC2 to the base, which was a small group of houses 1,000 blocks away, about -1200. XCC2 stayed in contact with them and a month later was invited to Viking Base. He accessed the nether roof and began to walk to the coordinates. After a whole week, XCC2 reached the marker, a jungle tree growing on top of the nether roof. He had arrived at the cords. This was the original Viking base area, west of the main base. XCC2 set his bed there, inside a small wooden house. This area was already abandoned when XCC2 arrived, as the members of the base had begun building in the snow biome, east of the island. This was also the time when the giant Jesus statue had just been completed. Imp had used a method known as voxel to create the model, which he then built by hand. Imperator was the first person on 2b2t to build something using this method. He would later go on to help Passy voxelize the dead space marker, which he built out of bedrock at Ziggy Base. XCC2 then decided to build to the west of Jesus statue and put up a small castle with a tower. Imperator would later be upset about the placement because it was too close to the Jesus statue, and encroached on his design for the floral plaza surrounding the statue. It was around this time that Offtopia came to the base and began to build. XCC2 had already travelled 2b2t far and wide and had seen a half-finished mansion by Dr. Motek around 40,000 blocks from spawn at a base he shared with Offtopia. He decided to rebuild and complete this mansion at Imp Base, just to the south of the Jesus statue. As XCC2 travelled with his ults, Imperator would ask him to build more at the base, as long periods of time would pass with nothing being built. At some point after this, Cytotoxic T-Cell joined 2b2t and was invited to 700 base by XCC2, and it wasn't too long after that when Imperator asked Cyto to come to Imp Base. O'Malley Mix also came out to Imp Base and started to build a castle, which was never finished. Tristan also joined the base around this time. Of course, as this was 2b2t, another dupe had been discovered using FreeCam and Nether portals. This allowed the members of the base to gain great wealth. The members of the base kept the items in the community storage building to the northeast, and another made by Legit Lobster out of quartz. Here you can see the members standing around some of the dupe items, waiting to go into the new storage building. In 2013, Pop Bob found the base, and after Imperator reasoned with him, Pop Bob came out with his JIDF ult, promising not to grief the base. This gave the base the alias of the Ungriefable Base among some players of 2b2t. With all the duped stuff, the members started building again. Legit Lobster started building more. Cyto made a cool mansion to the east, and then began building the giant castle structure further to the north. Offtopia made his famous floating castle structure. and then built his giant NPC village. This village had hundreds of houses and could be seen from the castle. Judge Holden also came out to the base and made a small house to the north and west of Jesus, but he did not play for very long at the base. This period of peace did not last long for the base. Omal quit 2b2t forever around this time due to the NHAC backdoor that PopBob did to him and Cameron, allowing PopBob to see his desktop. Tristan then secretly shared his Anvil infinite item hack with XCC2, who told Offtopia, and made some infs and a stash on a museum nearby. PopBob found the stash, and he was angry at them for not telling him about the exploit, so he griefed their stash. The last thing XCC2 did there was around the time when Pyrobyte had come to the base, and he and Tristan had backdoored the server and created God Gear. Imp had a plan to create the biggest dupe stash the server had ever known and fill it using OP commands. In April 2013, these chests were full of infinite items, which Housemaster tried to destroy using a plugin. This plugin would randomly turn on and off, so they never knew when it was safe to use their infs. Imp Base would then stay relatively unused, known as a legendary base for years, until the events of 2015. Tristan left a file on his GitHub FTP server called nether.tar.gz. This mysterious file was downloaded by Cainslaw, who told Spartan 512 and myself about it. We saw the region files were of a huge tower with a portal at the top. We were amazed, and we even thought, could this be the legendary base? So we spent a few nights digging 125,000 blocks in the nether by hand from Aureus City. On October the 25th, 2015, we went through the portal, and to our amazement, spawned in at the base of the Jesus statue. We would stay at the base for exactly 2 months, making world downloads and speaking with Tristan, who seemed to be the only active member left at the base. He would mostly stay inside his house. On Christmas Day in 2015, Jared 2013 arrived at the base and announced to the whole server he was there to destroy it. Imp Base was no more. The legendary base that stood for all those years came down over the course of just a few hours. The base is still recognisable though, even today, as visitors come to see the ruins of the famous base of bases. Thank you for watching the history of Imp Base, and thank you to XCC2 for the information. If you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe and also join the JR Club Discord, links are in the description.